Unrelenting,
Hello.
unrepentant,
Welcome to
and
Soul
in your
Food and
face.
Lemonade.
With a style that is always funny, fresh,
I think I
and
messed it up. I
never
have to start
boring.
it over.
Join
I shouldn't talk yet. Okay, here we go.
Is it
um,
too is it bad if I wear my hat, or would you rather me not?
actually, that's totally up to you, man. Whatever you feel comfortable with,
I,
whatever you feel comfortable with. All right. Okay, let's start again. we had a, f-
yeah, my I you know.
we don't care
Hey.
around here. We do whatever we want to do, right?
Yeah, come on.
All right, let me get you up.
unrelenting,
Yeah.
unrepentant, and in your face. With a style that is always funny, fresh, and never boring. Join Deli as he discusses various relevant and trending topics as he keeps you informed, engaged, and entertained. Welcome to Soul Food and Lemonade.
Uh,
All right. It's so cool lemonade. It's your boy
yeah.
Jerry. Oh my god. I can't believe I have my boy Todrick
Yeah.
Murray.
Come on, man.
We haven't had one of these since 2016, bro.
Yeah, because I was in there. That's when we went to Atlantic, wasn't it?
Yes, that's when we went to Atlanta. Man, it's been that long.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
sorry. Let me just take the time to apologize now, because I ain't trying to slight my guy. You know.
No need to apologize. We know you're a busy man, man. We know you're a busy man. So, what's been up, man? What's going on in your state? What's going on? I know you have a big day coming up, and I won't talk about it unless you want to talk about it.
I mean, I feel like it's a beautiful thing, so I don't have a problem talking about it.
All right. Well,
Uh,
share.
we got the
You
we
know I'm
got the
nosy, so
wedding
share. You know I'm
we got the
nosy.
wedding bells ringing. I know a few people know it in the big world.
Uh huh.
I was single for a long time, but the good Lord, came down and said, "Hey, it ain't
Enough is
good
enough.
for my guy to be alone." You
uh,
know,
I am happy for you,
so,
man. I'm really
yeah,
super
man,
happy for you. I know you've been talking about this beautiful young lady for a while, and yeah.
yeah.
Look at
In
that
fact, I'm
smile.
pretty sure you were one of the first people I talked to about it, because I was
Of
like, "Doc,
course, I
mm,
remember.
mm, I do believe I'm compromised. I don't know. I'm in trouble, man."
I hear you. I hear it's good kind of trouble though.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
So the last time we were here, we were talking about the guy in the White House, and as Whoopi call him, the guy in the White House. Uh,
Yeah,
I choose to call him Donald, because that's who he is. Not a
yeah.
president. That's who he is. Man, so update me as to what's going on, what's taking place there in Texas, as far as the whole movement and everything that's going on now. How is it in Texas?
Uh, well, I mean, I'm gonna just I'm gonna preface everything I say by these are factual statements.
Mm-hmm.
They are based off of either data or a psychologist standpoint, which I studied in school. So I don't claim to be an expert, but I know a little bit about it. Uh,
Okay.
and I'm going to completely um, uh, negate the emotional aspect of this for the people who are watching that know that they can't always trust what they hear because people get emotional, etc.
Okay.
So the truth about Texas is it's one of the least enlightened states
I didn't
you
expect
know,
that, but go on.
in the dang United States of America. Now, this is aside from Alabama, Mississippi, the true South, like nitty gritty states.
The
It's one of
Bible
the least
Belt,
enlightened.
right?
Yeah, exactly, man. And the problem with that is um, everything is so everything is faith based, which is usually fine. But faith is the substance of things not seen, right? So
Right.
when you have facts that will tell you this is what's going on. You don't need faith. And too often, people around here rely on the faith of the matter instead of the fact that, hey, man, COVID is real. Um, there's a true difference between lying and truth and opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And deciphering between all the noise is not something that is particularly prevalent in this state. So there aren't a lot of masks. Our governor is not being wise in a lot of the decisions he makes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's happening not just here, but in other states. And we're seeing the repercussions of, um, not really thinking things through to make sure the majority are safe. And we are seeing numbers in COVID go up. We're seeing a movement for, you know, that forever Trumpers, since they saying never Trumpers, I'm gonna say
Right.
forever Trumpers, trying to rally against someone who's just doesn't seem to be equipped. But we
Right.
already knew that in 2016 when we talked about it. We knew it was
Yeah,
going to
we
happen.
knew it. We knew it. We knew when he was coming down that escalator that it's gonna be downhill from
Yeah,
there. You know.
yeah.
Um. Okay. So, what are some other rhetorics that you're hearing there in your area, in your neck of the hood in Texas?
I mean, specific to what?
To how well he's doing, and he's the guy, he's the man.
Yeah. Um, I mean, that's not going to change. I don't think. I mean, if Texas ever votes blue, then, and I mean, anything's possible. But uh,
After 2016, anything is possible. Yeah.
any 100%, my guy. Um, so I mean, nothing has really changed as far as a lot of people who are for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me because uh, even from the evangelical specter, and this is a whole nother topic by itself, and I welcome all challengers who want to go against me when
Right.
it comes to Bible, Christendom, what is actual and what is made or fabricated by man, as
Mm-hmm.
far as the evangelical movement is concerned. But dude, honestly, man, Trump is their new messiah in a lot of ways.
You're right. You're right.
Because whatever he says, they go for, bro. It's crazy.
It makes you
You know?
question this whole concept of Christianity and all of that. I know I've been questioning a lot of stuff, even some people that you never thought you had no clue that they hold some of those feelings, some of
Yeah.
those thoughts and opinions. Suddenly they're like, it's like a slap in the face, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
And how do we truly process that? How do we not look at religion or Christianity in a different way after hearing some of what these people are saying?
Yeah, that is a statement, bro. Because the truth of the matter is, um, the original intent. I mean, if we're going to really talk about the origins of Catholicism and where all of this came from
Hmm.
to the Protestant movement, if we're really going to talk about the origins of the matter and what Christ would do, or the out of the hundreds of disciples, the original 12 that were in communion with Christ would do,
Hmm.
that 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 is completely lost to history.
He's
And because,
destroyed everything, man. I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, 100%, bro. Like him, and then the fascist, self-righteous, religious, especially mega white evangelical movement has completely bought into that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
as if there was never a Christ or original 12. It's crazy.
It is insane. And one of the things that really strikes me a lot is these people know. It's not like they don't know. They know that every other word that comes out of his mouth is a lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie. And nobody remembers that as a Christians, we aren't supposed to be lying. We're supposed to be doing a lot of stuff, but yet they wrap their entire being around him. Like you say, he's their new Messiah.
Man, it
and
would seem so.
it makes you wonder. It makes you ask a lot of questions, a whole lot of questions. It makes you question your faith and your beliefs. I know I do, you know, um, and to think that there may be a possibility where he may get another 4 years.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah,
2016, we never thought he was gonna win. Period.
yeah,
You see, and unless I've been saying that, unless Joe Biden select an African American woman, a very strong one, he probably don't stand a chance of a second term.
yeah, for sure.
And at this point in time, I think that the Democrats are right now too complacent. They're not out there doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, he's having rallies. Why aren't we having rallies? Because you have to hear from two sides of this of these issues. Why
Yeah,
aren't we out there not stumping and doing what we need to do to ensure at least a glimmer of hope when it comes to us winning the election? You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I don't think the Democrats are out there forcefully. Um, I want to say forcefully enough, but at this point, I don't think they're out there forcefully. Period. And
yeah,
so everyone is just laser focused on Joe Biden. Joe Biden alone cannot win the election come November.
yeah,
So it's time that the Democratic Party as a whole start mobilizing, pull numbers, having rallies, going into uncharted territories. Let their presence be seen and felt.
hmm,
I think there's a lot to be done from the Democratic standpoint. We are only months away from the election.
yeah.
You see?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like the thing that exists, and when we watch the news, and I'm someone who I always cross pollinate
Hmm.
because I'll never have someone tell me, oh well, you only watch MSNBC and you
Right.
never watch, etc.
I don't
Because it's
watch
kind of like,
Fox.
come on.
Period. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I
well,
don't.
see, and this is the thing, like, and I completely, I have no qualms with you at all for not watching it because, quite frankly, from an intellectual standpoint, I got 3 degrees, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so, like, when you watch that particular network, unfortunately, especially Fox and Friends specifically. I
Uh
have
huh.
to point it at them specifically. There's not a vast array of trustworthy information you're going to get from them.
Not
It's
much
always going to
facts and
be,
stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And I don't know where we got to this point to where uh, it's bad to be smart. I don't like
It's
wait.
a
So
sin to be smart.
they freaking watch and say things and say you snooty, patootie, uh, intellectuals, and I'm just like, bro, like, how do you think America got here
I
outside of
know.
back to slaves?
I know,
But
right?
how do you think we got here? Because people were smart. Like, if it was up to you, ain't no telling where we'd be. But anyway, that's beside back to what you're saying. It's weird because uh, I've voted both ways. I don't pay allegiance to a faction, but I have to say that with the media talking about are we being in the presence of 3 different pandemics:
Hmm.
the Donald Trump pandemic, the pandemic of coronavirus. I mean, you in New York, so you know what it's like right there. I
Oh
mean, in
yeah.
LA, same thing, man. They got
Hmm.
martial law with folk with AK-47s on the street.
Uh,
You know, this is what I know,
we
bro.
haven't
This
got
ain't
that
this.
crazy yet over here. We
You know what I'm
have
saying?
got
And
that
that's what's
insane.
crazy
Yeah, I
because
know.
like I don't have to watch the news to find this stuff out. I'm connected. Like I'm connected to Los Angeles, California. So anything that
Right,
happens there, whether I'm in Texas or New York or across the world,
right.
I know what's happening. And then the third pandemic is we got riots in the streets now.
Mm.
So even if you're just talking about a pandemic of coronavirus, it I don't think that the Democratic or the DNC is particularly wrong for being cautious with rallies. And if
Well,
anything,
yeah,
I feel like I feel like Donald Trump is doing two things. He's put people's lives in danger with this rally he just had
most
on the
definitely.
20th,
Most definitely.
and two, he's hanging himself, bro.
Yep, yep.
You know, I'm with you. We got to get behind Joe because he can't do it alone. But it's like that dichotomy between when it's right and and how to go
Well,
about it
yeah, now
is
that
kind
you
of hard.
explain it that way, I see where you're coming from. But what
Yeah,
is gonna make or break Joe, I think, is going to be his choice for vice president.
yeah.
Personally speaking, and I'm not saying this because she has a Jamaican connection, I strongly feel that Kamala Harris is um, is a very strong candidate simply because she is a powerhouse um, attorney. You can
Yeah.
see how she deals with issues when she's on the floor. She's no
He's cold.
nonsense. It's like, um, I'm not gonna let you get away with X, Y, or Z. She's just straightforward and factual. But having said that, I also think that Stacey Abrams is no joke
Yeah,
as well. You see,
yeah,
um, so that's two strong African American women
yeah.
right there. I know a lot of people been touting Elizabeth Warren and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I love Elizabeth Warren. I love her fiery little,
Yeah.
fiery little lady that she is.
Mm-hmm.
But in this climate that we're in,
Talk about it, bro.
she would not be the right choice. It would be
100%.
just like business as usual, the same old, you know. So I am kind of sure that that is probably the reason why it's taking so long for him to announce who his running mate is, because he's really thinking hard, long and hard, and
100%, bro.
listening to the advice of a lot of people in the background. So I
Yeah.
don't know. He's better
I feel,
make the right choice. Period.
yeah. Dude. If I could choose for him today,
Uh huh.
Kamala Harris, 100%.
Kamala Harris, right? So we're on the same page.
100%. I mean, nothing against Stacey, but because um, we're living in a day and time in which you have to have the ability to be able to answer the same question in
Exactly.
multiple different ways
Mm-hmm.
that are credible beyond the sphere of gossip,
You're right.
all that stuff. Like
Yes.
she's so solid, man. And I
She
mean,
is. She is.
I feel like she would be if something were to happen to Joe.
Yeah, she would
That
step up to it.
fire to his
Yeah.
eyes would definitely be common.
I feel the same way because I just watch her on the floor, questioning these people, asking very tough questions. And um, I don't see anyone who really going as hard,
Yeah,
I mean, equally as hard as she does. And
right.
even though they kind of like touting her records from the past and stuff like that,
Yeah,
um, I believe we all go through changes at some point in our lives. Some things that we believed 10 years ago may not be necessarily what we believe now.
right.
So if people can just look past a lot of that stuff and focus on the prize, winning the White House, that
Yeah,
is the right thing to do, in my opinion.
yeah, 100%.
And listen, we have to applaud these young people, these teenagers, man. We have to
Yeah,
applaud these teenagers for what they did to Trump. and his rally. Did you hear what they do?
Yeah,
You heard
man.
what they did?
Yeah, dude. I did, man. Nothing is stronger than the mob, bro. Nothing.
They bought up a lot of the tickets. So when they were touting that he had over 1 million people who got tickets and whatever, it was because these teens bought them up with the intentions not to show up.
Yeah,
And they didn't.
yeah,
And he's still fuming about it. Crybaby is still crying about it.
man, man, bro.
I read that and I
This,
laughed. I was on the bus and I read it and I couldn't stop laughing.
yeah.
You know, these are
And this is
teens.
this stuff right here, man, is what is hopeful. Um, because you ain't heard a whole lot from the new Black Panther. You ain't heard a whole lot from like a bunch of celebrities that usually speak out on particular matters right
Come to
now.
think of it, you're right.
And I think the reason why, I mean, because you think about back in 1998, I was there at the courthouse in Jasper, Texas, whenever they drugged James Byrd Jr. and they're
Oh,
about to do the
right. Yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
there in Jasper as a 10-year-old kid with my dad.
Wow.
Ku Klux Klan on this side, Black Panther on this side, a brigade of cops keeping us like keeping them, away from each other,
Separated.
and
Yeah.
then we standing in the middle, right? Like I'm they come out, bruh. They
Hmm.
don't play games.
Right.
And I think the reason why we hear such a strong or strength in silence right now is because they sitting back like, dude, these young folk, bruh, they doing it.
Yeah, they're
You
doing
know?
it big.
Yeah, man.
My only hope is that a lot of this activism translate in actual votes, you know,
Right.
because
100%.
we have to claim, the Democrats have got to claim those battleground states. Whatever states are responsible for the electoral college, whatever, which I personally believe should have been done away with, you know,
You ain't lying, bruh.
they
You ain't lying,
we
man.
have to I
What?
mean, what's the purpose? It's democracy, right? It's supposed to be
Yeah.
democracy. You're either win or you're not a winner. Okay, you either
Exactly.
win or you lose. So what's this
100%,
thing
bro.
where, okay, the mass of the population voted one way and then a small group of people, I'm not even sure what they are, you know
Yeah.
determine
Well,
the outcome, the final outcome? That doesn't make
yeah,
sense
well,
to me.
it does. It's crazy because you got popular and you got the electoral, like you're talking about. And um, think about it. We wouldn't be in this nonsense right now
We
with
wouldn't.
Donald if we have one true democratic voted by the people process with no kind of, there's no need for a check on
No,
votes.
exactly.
And essentially, that's what the electoral college has presented itself as. So it's like, okay, so essentially, what you have created is these two stages of which one group of people can feel, which are the American people, can feel one way about someone,
Uh-huh.
but you still have a particular category of people who can be bribed into particular votes.
Exactly. And to
That's
me,
that.
it's a
That's
bribe. It's a
yeah.
bribery
That's the
system.
issue with the electoral, bro. That's
Yeah.
what it is. It's
Yeah.
not entirely, but the possibility alone means that it's not sound. And as long as a voting system is constructed that way, then we are not a true democracy
No, we're not. Well, America has
by
never been a
definition.
true democracy.
You ain't lying,
We
especially for
have to,
us.
yeah, we have to realize that. I mean,
Yeah,
if you really look at the history of this country, it has never really. That's a term that we tout, and we want the entire world to believe that. You can believe what you want to believe, doesn't mean that you're right, or you get where I'm coming from. and
100%.
so and so uh, especially now, you cannot call America a democracy, even if it was prior to Donald Trump. It's not today. You see,
Not for everybody.
he is eroding the Constitution. He is literally doing what the heck he feels like doing, without paying attention to the rules of law. So how can you truly say this to them? We're heading to, I can't even pronounce the word,
An authoritarian.
Always have problem with that word.
Authoritarian.
That's where we're heading. Yeah, that's where we're heading.
Dude,
That is where
I
we're
mean,
heading.
if you're, dude, this is bro, like, I have had so many conversations with so many people I know at this point. Like, I have a harder time trying to focus in on a particular topic or subject points
Uh-huh.
underneath the main title,
Right.
um, because there's so many fallacies that exist from the construct of this country. And because I'm a historian, it's like, bro, like, are you kidding me right now? Democracy for who?
I know.
When have we not been? When have we not been an authoritarian state for, like, to where it's not like that? Why I say that is because it hasn't been a true democracy for all, to where every man is created equal by our forefathers who owned slaves, who said it.
Right.
So who were they talking about if they
They're not
owned
including. They're
slaves
not including.
at the time?
It's not an inclusive body of people. It's
100%,
like you
bro.
say, it's just a certain segment of the population that we all know who that segment is. Um,
100%.
and as such, I mean, you're saying freedom for all. All who is included in this all?
Mm-hmm.
You see, they do not.
100%.
They're not including black folks. They're certainly not including Native Americans. They're not including Latinos. So they're saying freedom for all Caucasian Americans. That's it.
Yeah. It's funny because they fought against the dang a king back in the day in order to become a liberated, free country,
Right.
but then became the very people that they despised,
Exactly. Exactly.
which is which is insane. So essentially, it was like, we all want to be kings, we all want to be queens, but that only amounts to people who look like us.
Right.
So now it's again, here we are in the midst of another dang near as big as it was before. Um, um, uh, what's the social battle, or social economical battle, to
Turbulence.
where, yeah, to where we were supposed to have made particular progresses before with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these cats. But
Mhm.
we right back, we quite frankly never left. We just,
I
made a
I think
few progresses and
do you do
went from
you
there.
do you think that it is economically and racially, do you think that, I mean, I know you weren't born back then,
Right.
but based on your knowledge of history and what took place,
Mhm.
do you think there's a similarity, maybe not a similarity, do you think that it is better, or it's worse, or it's getting worse, or getting better, in your opinion?
From a socioeconomical aspect, I mean, yes, we have made progresses. I mean, I'm not particularly sh- struggling per se as a black man, but
Right.
I am not the majority at all when it comes to black people.
Exactly.
That From that aspect, we have come to a place where we have progress. But from a racism standpoint and an equal across the board standpoint, all we did was conceal it and make people who were racist um, dive into a closet or to a hole and disguise what slavery looks like now,
Mm.
and what it looks like to be separate but equal, like they should talk about back in the
Right.
day.
Right.
Now that's why they keep on talking about systematic racism, because we put black people in a particular area. We don't let particular black people get paid the same way as their white counterparts
You
in the
don't let them live
workforce.
in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, they don't.
There's
Or
a
you
lot of,
raise some
yeah.
kind of statute that directly targets people of color,
Hmm.
so that this particular group can feel like elitists And then we don't really care about putting any money to build this particular area up because they don't look like the people who make the laws.
Listen,
So
man,
in
I
one
see
way,
it.
yeah, we have progress, but in other ways, not.
Right. I see it every day because I work with the transit system and traveling through,
Hmm.
I travel through just about every town in northern New Jersey. So
Yeah,
I see you come from one area to the next. It's like night and day, bro. I'm telling you.
yeah,
And
yeah. It's true.
these are literally less than a block apart, and you see the transformation from neighborhoods to neighborhoods. You see, and
True.
I'm in my mind, I'm driving, I'm observing these things, and I'm saying, I think that's the very first time I really see it for myself, the
Hmm.
inequality on the unjust situation when it comes to housing and neighborhoods. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know how to explain it, bro. It makes me feel some kind of way, you know?
I mean, and it should, bro. I mean, because feeling that way like leads to some kind of action
Yeah.
or some kind of repercussion, right? We got people pillaging and burning down dang cities, and I'm hurt because my Third Street Promenade got just smashed.
Oh,
You know
you
what I mean?
serious?
Yeah, man. Like they broke like it's crazy to me because it's just stuff, and that's what hurts me is the stuff I became used to and accustomed to in Santa Monica is burned down. But
Right.
what's greater than stuff are the lives of the reason why all this stuff is happening.
Well, I've
You
been
know?
saying, and I did write a short post on it on Facebook, is, no one can condone the destruction, of course. But at the same time, personally, I understand why
100%.
people do what they do.
Hmm.
When your back is up against the wall, you're gonna kick that wall
Bro,
in. I'm sorry.
bro.
You see? And a lot of people are stuck on, oh, they're burning down this, they're burning down that. A lot of people are stuck on that.
Yeah.
Whether you believe they should or not. I'm stuck on, once you take a life, that life is gone for good.
100%.
When you burn property, physical property, you can always rebuild.
You rebuild
You
it, bro.
cannot rebuild your life. Once it's gone, it's gone. You
Die.
see? So
We ain't
I
getting George
understand
back,
people's
man.
frustration. Sometimes I've been saying this a lot. Some people may agree, some people may not agree with me. But I've been saying that you do not get real results, especially in this case, racism. You do not get people to come over on your side by simply talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to tear crap up to get the attention
Bro.
of people.
Look,
I'm sorry if I'm
you are
offending
a
somebody out
hundred.
there. You see?
Hey,
Then again,
you
I'm
are
not
a
sorry. I'm
hundred.
just saying what's on my mind and what's in my heart.
Hey, man.
Sometimes you have to go buck wild in order to be
Yeah,
taken seriously. You
bro,
see?
bro. Look, let me go ahead and give you an amen real quick with this statement I'm about to say. Because here's the thing: everybody wants to, from the beginning of time, bro. Everybody wants to talk about what is right and what is wrong, what is necessary, what's not necessary.
Yep.
But they forget that without a day, there is no night. Without an
Thank you.
appreciation for good or righteousness, there without appreciation, you can't have an appreciation for good and righteousness if you don't know bad and evil
Exactly. Thank
and
you.
all these things.
Thank you.
Now, those are very, very vast contrasts, right? So we have Martin Luther King, peaceful protester, etc. You got Malcolm X, Black Panthers, not so much. They like by any means necessary,
Exactly.
you gonna hear me. But the question is all the dang time, which is completely irrelevant, is wait, who was better? Who made the better decision? Both of them.
Mhm.
Why? Both of them were necessary. Why were both of them necessary? Because no one talks about oh well, let's look for a peaceful solution because I'm scared, and this is healthy fear now. This is healthy
Exactly.
fear. Um, no one looks for a peaceful solution until they feel like there is danger or there
Exactly.
is this huge force that can supply whatever agenda that they have or way of living that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them are necessary. Without Malcolm X, Martin Luther King is irrelevant. And Martin Luther King is irrelevant if there's no Malcolm X to
Exactly.
make
There has to be
people
a
come to
balance, right?
him
Yep.
for 100%, bro. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at peaceful protesters. We're looking at rioters. The rioters make the both types of riots make each other relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, we don't get the results we want. Because you know what's happening? We got two more black dudes who've been killed by cops
And now they're
since George
hanging. Now
Floyd.
they're hanging them. You and I know quite
You know what
well.
I'm saying,
Black
bro?
people ain't going out there hanging, putting a rope around their neck and jumping off a tree or whatever. That's not what we do. That's
Exactly,
exactly
bro.
not what we do. You see what I'm saying?
Nah, man.
So all of these
100%.
random hangings that are taking place now,
Yep.
don't tell me, don't tell me that that's not happening. That the other side is doing that. Don't tell me that. I do not buy that. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
so even with these things are still happening in spite of the major protests that are taking place not just in America but
Yeah.
across the world. And so
Ross,
we have to
the world.
realize, and as such, we have to realize that we are gonna have to turn up even higher in order for them to really take us
It's true,
seriously.
bro.
Because what you're
It's
doing
true, bro.
right now, they're still killing black folks out there. They're still
It's true,
doing
man.
it. And then when you have New York City cops cry, baby, oh, you need to respect the badge. The badge is has no stain. Oh, that badge doesn't. Not
What?
only is it stained, it is rust. It is
Right.
rust from the stain of, well, from the blood of black
Right.
and brown people.
The thing that's crazy about that too is in Los Angeles and New York specifically, the crazy thing about that darn badges is derived from gangsters and mobsters. So it's like, okay, we're respecting something again, like America, that was built on the premise of corruption.
Right.
You can't build something good from a corrupt standpoint.
Hmm.
And that's what people are not getting. There's no way we get better until we go back to the foundation, which is our Constitution. We go and visit our demons, which were our forefathers who owned slaves. And let's talk about that. It's
Right.
not an embarrassment to be wrong. It's only a humiliation when you don't admit that you're wrong and you don't get
Exactly.
better.
Exactly.
That's where we got to get. And that's where we don't want to get to, bro.
And the thing that frustrates me too is that the a lot of people are tone deaf. The administration is tone deaf. The
Yeah.
police force is tone deaf. Militarizing the country isn't the solution to the problem. Building more prisons, not the solution. You see?
Yeah.
And I am in favor of
Right.
defunding the police. Take that money and put it into neighborhoods that
Right.
need those
Yeah.
funds. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
defund them.
I feel like
Heck,
that's
corrupt them if I mean drive them into bankruptcy if you may. I don't even care at this point. But
mm, I don't
we
even know why that's a question.
we have to amp up this whole situation even higher,
Yeah.
even greater, because as you can see, they're still killing us in spite of the protests and everything that's taking
Right,
place.
bro. It's true, man.
So
It's
how
true,
how
bro.
do we how can we truly stop them? I don't know if in our lifetime people will change their racist ways,
Man.
but we can do things to force them to at least pretend that they are not racist anymore.
Yeah. Like we need to unequivocally like define, and this would be a broad definition, but the broad definition is necessary. We need to unequivocally define what racism is in every aspect.
Yes.
Take away every single like addendum that would protect someone, especially in law enforcement or those
Yeah.
who we're supposed to be paying our tax dollars to protect us, who refuse to do that. We need to define that, make it into law, and by no exception should they be able to get off.
They shouldn't. And
If we're
that's the
going back
reason
to a
why
time
it
where it's
keeps happening. That is the
yeah,
reason why it keeps happening because they know that they're going to get off. It's
yeah,
like, I don't know if it's a unspoken or unwritten law that they have in law enforcement who tells you that you can go out there and murder a young black man or a Latino brother or sister and you're going to get you're going to be let go scotch free. You see, there has to
uh,
be something that they're telling them that we are
well,
not aware of.
well, you know, the union, and this is fact too. The union, the police union, makes it to where there are particular bylaws in what cops do that protect them or allow them to use particular liberties to enable them to do their job. So if that's the case, then maybe the definition needs to come to, okay, what's your job then? Because clearly
They're
that's
not
what
doing their
defund the police
jobs.
is about. They should have been, this is the thing that drives me crazy about the DNC and certain people who try to do smart things but don't know how to like think. Why they messed up because they called it defund the police. We are living in a world where like people take things either literally or emotionally, and
Right.
in both ways, literally and emotionally, for the non-thinkers of the world, defund sounds like you're saying take away all their finances.
Right.
No, they need to do better with saying, okay, well, okay, this means a distribution, a redistribution of where these
Redistribution.
funds needs to
Right.
go. We're talking about experts all the dang time. In the court of law, if you got an expert on the stand, supposedly, that's supposed to mean his word or her word weighs heavier than someone who just goes up and randomly starts talking. So why are we not delineating this same rule of thought into policing? Why in the world are they expected to know how to deal with someone who is as simple as mentally retarded,
And
who's not going to respond the same way as a normal person?
exactly.
Put that money in the hands of someone who knows how to handle it.
When you can arrest someone in a wheelchair, you have a problem. You definitely have a problem. When you're arresting someone who is in a wheelchair, you have a problem as a police officer. And I'm talking a mental problem.
Yeah.
When you can arrest a 90 something year old woman or man for that matter, you have serious issues because what threat do those people pose to you that
Mm-hmm.
would justify you putting them in handcuff, especially the person in the wheelchair? What are they gonna do? Wheel away at high speed, 70 miles an hour? I think not.
That'd be one hell of a wheelchair, man. I want that
You
wheelchair.
see, I mean,
Sure.
when you really think about some of the dumb things that some of these cops do, it really baffles me. And if you're such a fearful coward, why did you join the police force?
Man.
Explain that
Bully.
to me. Why did you join the
Yeah,
police
man.
force?
It's crazy. It's crazy, bro.
You have a gun and you're dealing with a teenager. What threat does that teenager pose to you with a gun on your hip?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things that really don't make sense to me. And another thing, one of the things that I'm highly against, one of the things that I'm seriously against are cops who work in your neighborhood, but they don't live in your neighborhood. They have no relationship with the neighborhood except for when they show up on the job. So they
Yeah.
don't understand you, they don't understand me, they don't understand the neighbor next door. They know absolutely nothing about the neighborhood in which they live, other than label us all as criminals, as crooks. So I believe that the force needs to be changed. The rules need to be changed, which says that should say that if you're going to be a cop in Newark, New Jersey or Amarillo, Texas, you must be a resident of that city.
Yeah.
And instead of gunning down people, why not try to learn the understand the community? Why not have conversations with the
Yeah.
residents? Because that can help. That could go a long way. Understand why people act the way they do. Understand why
Yeah.
people do some of the things they do. Instead of just slapping a handcuff on them and put them in one of your for-profit prisons. It doesn't make sense to me.
For-profit prisons.
For-profit prisons.
Huge. That's a huge statement, Doc.
And that's what it is. I mean,
It's true.
you know, and
It's
so
true.
they're building them every day.
It's true, bro.
They're building them every
I,
day.
I just feel like people have become comfortable and enjoy their privileged ignorance. And
Exactly.
that's not entirely just white people. That's America as a whole, bro. They get to enjoy a particular privileged ignorance. And I mean, people don't know that there are both federally funded and privately funded
Funded. Yep.
prisons. They don't know that when you get behind those walls, most of the people of color and a few white people trickled in there, but we can get on white privilege in a minute, and I can completely debunk that. That's easy. But um, they don't know that behind those walls, you still got prisoners who look a whole lot like me and
Yep.
my fiance and people who ain't white on their dang hands and knees picking in the hot sun with them white folks on the dang horses. They don't know that's what it looks like. They just think it's just what you see on TV
It's
behind the metal bars and the air conditioning
I
system.
know, right?
You know, come on, man. Like
I
let's
know.
let's talk
I
about
know.
it for real now,
Yeah. Yeah.
huh? And I'm
Um
with you, bro.
it's a
I'm
different
with you.
form of slavery. It's a different form of
Oh,
slavery.
bro.
The chains were taken off, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the other alleys you can think of, we're still slaves. Still slaves.
100%,
You
bro.
see, and the thing is that America has to wake up at one point or another. I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't have the solution, but we cannot continue to force our ideals on other countries when we're not living by them. You see, we cannot police the world when we are the ones need policing. We
Yeah,
cannot tell someone not to do X, Y, and Z when we're deep in it. So there has to be some kind of I don't know what the fix is. I don't know what the solution is. But one thing I know is all these talk isn't gonna get us there.
yeah,
Talk is not going to get us there. There's a reason why you have peace, and there's a reason why you have war. One come out on top, the other dies. You
right.
see what I'm saying? If by any means necessary, black folks has to do whatever they have to do to survive in this country. Now
Yeah.
they're talking about these vaccines and stuff. They want to test them on Africans. And why? No one is asking the question why black people. Why do they want to use us as guinea pigs?
You know why. We know why. Come on.
Well, I
We
know
know
why,
why.
but you see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so first of all, we shouldn't be allowing people like Bill Gates and even Fauci. He's on Bill Gates' team. A lot
Mhm.
of these people you see up there going on talking a whole bunch of stuff, talking as if they're in favor of um of uh, world health and the well-being of everyone. No, they're not. They're
Yeah.
not. It's just a facade that they put on and make it seem as if, oh, I am all for you. But if you read through the line, and that's the thing, when you see certain people on TV saying certain things that even sounds good, do your research and then you find out the truth about a lot of these people.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what
For
a
sure.
lot of us do not do. We don't do research. We just soak up everything like a sponge.
Yeah.
But you have to go and find out the backstory of that person or people that you see out there trying to sell you all this rosy stuff and talking a good talk, but not walking the walk.
Right.
You see? So, in
Yeah,
your
I'm with
humble opinion, man, in your humble opinion, what do you believe is going to take to change the minds and hearts of this nation?
I mean, that's always the question, right? Um, I always, whenever I've had a lot of time to think about that question, and I always think about, because Pop is a pastor, the two things he used to say all the time. Um, where your heart is, so shall your treasure be also.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, out of the heart the mouth speaketh. Out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. Now, those two go hand in hand because out of the abundance of your heart, you will talk about where your treasure is, and it's like wine. So the only thing that I feel like we can really do, and this is a very, very, very bold and crazy statement, and but it's true, is find out what is so loved and so cherished by those in power, which usually goes back to one thing, that's money.
Mm.
Because the love of money, which this country
Yep.
loves money,
Is the root of
is the
all
root
evil.
of all evil. 100%, bro. The root. And we have that personified in the leader in chief of what's supposed to be the leading country of the free world.
Right.
What does that look like? That means until such time as there's true retribution for every person of color, don't pay a dime in taxes. Why? Because every reason why you pay taxes don't protect you,
No,
don't
it does
hold up for
not.
you,
It doesn't.
etc.
You're right.
I bet you people start moving when they ain't got no money in the bank.
You're right.
You
You're
hear
right.
me?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a crazy statement, but it's like, bro, like I'm dying for someone. I'm basically paying my own assassin to kill me.
Exactly. You're right. I never
you
thought
know,
about that, but you're so right about that. You're
you
right.
know that's
100%.
that's one way.
That's
The
one
other
way.
thing is we got to take out all the nonsense stuff in school.
Yeah.
I got a really close friend from the Ukraine. That's a crazy statement to say right now, considering the climate of things
Hey,
and
it is what
collusion
it
with
is, right?
Ukraine. But I got a really good friend from Ukraine. He's about 73. We're sitting in the steam room in LA at my gym, and he talked about how they learn history in a linear fashion.
Mm,
So no matter what, at whatever point that in time they were studying, they studied where about different types of people, different countries to learn who was dealing with
mm,
what.
mm-hmm.
In our school system, we teach egocentrism, in which we tell our kids that we are the greatest people ever.
Right.
And the people that we say made us great look like one group of people.
Exactly.
But we don't talk about race. We don't talk about, the fact that, hey, we really were a country built on slavery. Not just black folk, but Asian folk.
Yep.
We killed and pillaged Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We fought back Santa Anna to basically steal slash purchase land, but really steal land
Steel line.
from Mexican people in
Right.
order to make this country. Like, so literally, we're the only country in the history of the world, in the history of the world, that has founded itself on the backs of slaves.
And stolen property.
So we got to teach this to our kids so that even though it's been said before, the next generation can challenge the thought process of their parents at home,
Mm-hmm.
or how they think when they get out, because they're like, oh wait, well, we're not really different, we just look a little different,
Right.
but we're the same, we're the human race. So from the money standpoint, and then teaching our kids the truth,
Mm-hmm.
man, that ain't all the solution, but it'll make a whole
A
lot of
whole lot of
freaking headway.
difference. Yeah, yeah. You have to
Yeah,
hit
man.
them where it hurts most, and that's financially. That is definitely
Yeah,
financially.
dude.
You know, but
What they
man,
gonna do? Lock up every single minority in America,
no,
and
they
then
can't.
left with no food to eat? Or it's gonna be super bland, no creativity, no music,
I know, right?
etc. We
Exactly.
make this country. Let's be clear
And
about this.
and
We
to be
are this country.
and to be honest with you, I think a part of this racism has to do with jealousy, jealousy on a whole lot of level. You know,
100%.
we are probably the most creative people on the planet as far as talent goes. Maybe not technology, but who knows? Because they
Right.
always discount what we're doing anyway. So who knows?
Even
Who
there.
truly knows?
Yep.
You see, and I believe that our one thing that we can do right now is to unify,
100%.
come
100%.
together. We don't want a repeat of Black Wall Street, but we have to find a way to
100%.
come together and bond together. I don't care if you're Caribbean black, African black, or black from wherever. We have to come together as a people. If we live in this country,
Yeah.
we have to we have to mobilize and, you know,
100%.
do whatever it takes to get respect.
Yeah.
Period.
100%.
Period.
And we ain't got to do it alone no more because there's a whole lot of white brothers and sisters out there that's fighting with us now,
Exactly.
which is
That
very, very cool to see.
it is. Even here in Newark, man, they have a couple of marches and a whole bunch of white folks. I mean, you're talking about Newark, New Jersey, right? You don't
You're
expect to
right.
see a
Come on.
lot, but there are a whole lot, bro. You see?
That's
And
awesome.
it's encouraging, really encouraging, bro. But man, I want to thank you for coming on this evening and chatting with me. And we need
Yeah,
to do
man.
this more often, bro.
Please, dude. I love it. This is like one of my favorite things to do is get on with you specifically, man. It's cool.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, man. So man, congratulations once again. Congratulations on everything.
It's-
You're looking happy. You've always been a happy guy, but now you're glowing happy.
yeah, it might be the light, Doc. I'm chocolate. I had to put back. I had to put back 3, 4 lights. Nah.
So we never.
I got a light right here, light coming from underneath the
I know.
camera. Your desktop glowing, Doc.
I know. I know. So
my let me- my teeth look like one of them commercials, Doc. That's what
yeah,
they
that
do.
looks like the
Yeah.
fluorescent bulbs, right?
No,
By
I
the way, any
appreciate
new
you, man.
music?
Much love to you, my guy.
One quick question: any new music in the works, or have you taken a break for now?
Nah, dude. So crazy. Real quick update on that. I just became um, one of the prominent writers slash producers for Sony Music Group.
Oh, nice!
Uh, I
Congratulations!
got thanks, man. You know how it is. We've been grinding for a
Oh,
minute.
man, we've been grinding a
Um,
long time, bro.
yeah, dude. I've been presenting a lot to them, and then of course I got a new song coming out soon. It's called "Work It Out."
Work it
Um,
out.
yeah,
I want to
and
hear that one.
it's
I'll wait.
funky, bro.
I'll wait.
It's funky, Doc. Yeah,
Oh, for
man.
real?
And there's a lot of stuff in the works. My sister, too, I've been working on stuff for her. She
Nice.
has a single out right now called Stayin'. It's Stayin, and her name's Tia Marie.
S
Check it
T
out.
A
It's
Y
dope.
N. That's one word, right?
Yeah, Stayin'. Yeah.
What's her name? Is it on
It-
YouTube or anywhere?
It's everywhere, man.
Oh,
Tia Marie.
Tia Marie.
And yeah,
Okay,
and yeah, man.
I gotta check it
And
out.
dude, we produce. She has kind of like an indie slash
Ah, that's my
Tori
favorite
Kelly
artist right there.
slash, Whistle Girl, Lauren Hill kind of vibe.
Oh, serious?
I just like opened the book of power, man. She got a lot to live up to now.
I know. I know,
But
right?
man,
I know.
yeah, check it
That's.
out, dude. It's pretty hot, man.
I'm gonna check it out. Tia Marie, staying.
T- Tia Marie,
That's
yeah,
Tia Marie.
Marie, yeah,
Okay, cool.
Marie.
Okay. And while I
Thing.
have you here, why don't you give your Facebook or any other information pertaining to you?
Cool, man. So I'm Todrick Murray. I'm Instagram slash at Todrick Murray. I'm also Facebook at Todrick Murray. I'm more vocal and active on Instagram.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready to launch my new website I've been working on. And I'm really excited about it because it'll have a podcast. We'll be able to do things like we're doing right now.
Nice.
Um, but it'll have a photography section, a music section, and just like a kind of mentoring section because I'm kind of getting that age of mentoring now, you
Oh,
know.
that's cool. That's cool.
So,
We're talking
but
about
it'll
that
be,
age.
yeah, man. So
All
it'll
right,
be
man.
todrickmurray.com.
Awesome,
And
man. It's always
yeah,
a
man, just
pleasure talking to you and vibing with you, man, because this is what it's all about. We have to encourage and motivate. And, I know we are artists and stuff, but hey, that's not all we do. We
right.
have to be involved and be active in life in general. So, man, I
Yeah,
appreciate you and thanks again for coming on.
for sure, man. Love you, dude. See you soon, bro. All
See you soon. God bless.
right. All right. Bye.
Congratulations again.
Thanks, bro.